E3 here, embodied, empowered, and ecstatic, just as I am. So that's my right hand, right fist, right side of the head. The camera's flipped. So the left side of the body is becoming more and more paralyzed every day, even since the beginning of the day to now. Like I'm trying to use my left hand to touch, like the right hand to touch my nose and touch your nose. Quick. See? Fist. Up, down, wave. Left hand, I'm starting to try. So this is the left hand. If I try to touch my nose, I'm trying as hard as I can to move my finger to my nose. If I try to reach it up, I'm trying to reach the left arm up as high as I can. So that's what I can do with the left side of my body. Hey, Newell, good to see you. Or good to be seen by you. Thanks everyone for being here. Continuing the presence practices. Of course, all day long, continuing the E3 affirmation, whether I want to or not, continuing it in my consciousness. Obviously, not to bypass what's happening. Like, for example, this is my right hand touching my nose, and then touching your nose. It's normal. This is my right hand, right side of the body. If I try to touch my nose with my left hand, one, it's extremely painful. Two, I'm still trying as hard as I can to touch my nose with the pointer finger and the left hand without moving my nose to my pointer finger. It requires extreme concentration and effort, and it's still not happening yet. So, almost, yeah, pretty much. So, so that's what's happening on the physical, and in my heart and mind and soul, I am embodied. I am empowered, just as I am. I am ecstatic, just as I am. So it's a good affirmation. So Aaron says, can you describe what it feels like? Yeah, the left side of the body feels like it's turning off. Like it started just with the left arm and left hand, but now it's moving down the left leg. And recently it's starting to increase in pain too. So it's like less sensation, less motor function, increased pain. And then that feeling is moving towards the chest a little bit. It's not so much like anxiety or worry, just noticing the sensations in the body. I'm staying open to miracles, of course, because everything is a miracle. And just as far as what it feels like on the human level, if it continues like that, the left side of the body will be completely paralyzed, probably in a few days. That's what it feels like. And it's getting worse like every hour. So I have to normally we don't have to think about moving a part of our body and actually direct our mind there and then really try hard and think about the movements, but that's what it's like for my left arm. So I'll try to give you a thumbs up with my left hand, and I could do the. See, it's down there, and it's really painful. So I'm trying to lift the arm as high as I can, and the thumbs up. So I guess that's showing you what it feels like. Like it's all the effort I have, and I can't lift the arm any higher while holding the thumbs up. But that's why I have this hand. So yeah, that's what's happening in my physicality right now. The pain last night, I took opioids. Well, no, I didn't last night. Did I? No. Yes. But a small dose. I did. I think 1 milligram of Dilaudid, possibly 2. But either way, the pain, like, it was beyond any pain that I've had the past year. So it's like, wow, I can't escape it. It's like an explosion of pain, not just once. It was like every millisecond, an explosion of pain all night long, and even right now. But that's kind of, and then there's also the left side of the body turning off. So it's a really beautiful presence practice. And then there has also, I'm not going to get into details, but family drama and like deep unconscious wounding. I know you have to just take my word for it. So that's another humorous aspect of the situation, the craziness in the environment. So I'm choosing to be present and to surrender and trust and keep my vibration high, regardless of the inescapable pain or left side of the body turning off. And yeah, people tell me, well, you have to speak positive. Well, yeah, I know that's true. I am working on many realms. And yeah, I'm doing everything I can in all parts of my being. Using my mind, using my energy, using my breath, using prayer, using surrender, asking other human angels to send me prayers and support. But yeah, if the left side of the body shuts off tonight, I would not be surprised at all. And I don't know how that affects the whole body, or if it just stays on the left side of the body. That's possible. So then I'll be present with that. Or if that feeling moves to the chest and turns the heart off, just be present with that. What else? Yeah, so I'm trying to be as present as I can with every moment. And then also trying to like stay open to whatever miracle is lined up, to stay open to that. And then also, I guess we all have to face it eventually, not being attached to this realm too. I guess it's kind of like Krishna told Arjuna to fight, but don't be attached to the fighting, basically. Thanks, Brittany. Yeah, it's kind of like a burst of feeling slightly better, but overall feeling worse every day, every hour. But my mind and my heart are feeling good. But the body, noticing how the left side of the body is shutting down, it's moving towards the middle of the back. Even now, it's like, it's very painful. But it feels good to connect with you in this way. And I still do believe deep down inside that miracles can happen. And healing can happen and will happen. So in a sense, I'm preparing for it now, not waiting till everything is perfect to share what's happening. Yeah, I wish I had like a director, a social media person who is documenting things, who could kind of organize it and then share it. But I'm just quite literally staying alive, keeping the left side of my body from like completely, it feels like it would just like curl up and turn off. That's the feeling. So I'm trying to like keep it open and keep it alive and bring healing to the brain. But yeah, if I leave my body later today, tomorrow, in the next few days, I would not be surprised at all with the sensations in the body. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, I mean, I think I told you, I've been wanting to put all these videos together and kind of put them into clips so they actually make sense. And people don't have to watch hundreds of videos to see the story. And I want to continue the videos and the story and create healing and something beautiful. That's the whole point for me. But yeah, thank you, Aaron. If there's a way you can assist, it's literally everything is so painful. And like not just painful, but the left side of the body feels like it's shutting off. No, probably just because I just shaved and washed my face. Feeling worse today. So yeah, it feels like a slow, painful death. Yeah. Or the body could just be healing and things are going to get better starting tonight. But as far as how it feels, yeah. I'm just responding to Aaron. He says, if there's any way to get me the videos, I mean, all the videos are on YouTube, so they'd have to be downloaded and then put into some sort of software program. What I wanted to do is download all the videos and then upload them onto library.tv. I want to shift all of my creations onto more conscious platforms, but haven't been able to do that. Thanks, Tim. So yeah, it's like, it's an interesting sensation. There's been increased pain on the right side of the chest. I'm not sure what that is, but it's like increasing in the head and the chest. So yeah, really beautiful presence practices with the body, with my mind. Like how it feels in the head, like the pressure is so strong and it's going into like the back of the right eye. The camera is flipped, if you're wondering. This is the right side. Yeah, and I don't know if it's like pre-stroke or pre-aneurysm or both, or pre-grand mal seizure. But yeah, that's how it feels here. I've been trying to do as much self-Reiki as I can, and of course as much inner work, and maybe this is all just in my head and it's all psychological. So sometimes I take that route, like it's all completely psychological and energetic, and then I use my mind and call in healing to different parts of my psyche. And then also working on the physical. And then spiritual. So thanks everyone who's here. Well, I was thinking if this is my last live stream, what would I want to say? Not anything really different. It's like I feel like I have the same path wherever it leads, in this body or the next. Whether I have a million people who I'm assisting or sharing my story with, or it's one person, like it's trying to have the same love and energy. And whether there is a way to actually release the pain and heal, or if there is not, trying to have the same energy either way. And of course, at the same time, doing everything I can to heal. But yeah, to actually feel in real time the one side of the body shutting down, that's quite the interesting, intense experience. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I appreciate the distance Reiki. And yeah, I've had to face like, well, do I want to live? What if I'm going to be in pain for another year? And yes, I do. So the desire to live is still there, the will and the dreams in my heart are still there. I feel like that's why we came here, to follow the dreams in our heart, and to co-create with God. That's why we came here. We all have different ways of doing that. I guess sometimes on like a human level, it gets a little frustrating not being able to do things that I love to do with my body. But I trust that everything is happening perfectly. And I'm trying to like kind of bear my own cross, you could say. Trying to do my best to bear my own cross. And at the same time, I keep on repeating that it would be awesome to heal, to release the pain fully, to be able to do more with my body, to live many, many more years. That would be really awesome. So it's possible this is just part of a really awesome story. And part of the awesome story is having extreme pain, being close to death. Maybe I'll even leave my body and come back. I'm not sure. But yeah, the highest vision, at least maybe I don't know. Maybe there are many things I do not know. But I think my highest vision is to heal, to be in this body, and to be part of the new earth, and to inspire people and to assist people while in this body, healthy. I guess you could say it's happening right now. So, but yeah, every day the left side of the body is turning off more. I'm trying to I do believe in you, body, left side of the body. See, I'm trying to reach the left arm up. Like all of us, we could usually do that, or a lot of us, if our arm is healthy. My right arm, reaching up. Now, how about the left arm? So I have to even look at it just to, it's at the middle of my chest right now, or actually at my hips. So reaching up. I'm trying as hard as I can to reach the arm straight up. So it's painful and it's very hard. So I guess that's why I have two arms. This arm will have to be like the trainer for that arm. So that, yeah, something's happening in the brain, affecting the left side of the body. So I'm going to let my left arm relax as a workout. Mrs. Kiefer, my teacher from, I think, 3rd grade, she says, if this should be the last time we speak, I want to thank you for the memories of a quiet young man who always tried his best. Thank you for the memories of watching you play basketball. Thank you for sharing your life journey with all of us. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, but there's still I guess on the one hand, I feel like there's perfect completion with my life. And then at the same time, there's perfect incompletion. I feel like I'm just beginning. That's a deep sense. And I'm grateful. I feel like I still have that childlike innocence and curiosity and playfulness and creativity, and the dreams in my heart are still alive. So in a sense, I feel like hasn't even begun. That's a feeling I get. But then also, it's definitely a good practice for me. At the same time, being ready or being present with, the pain, but then also the possibility of leaving the body and not coming back right away. Maybe I'll just take a vacation for a little bit and then come back. I don't know. That's what happened with, I forget the author of Proof of Heaven. He was in a coma for 7 days, I think 7 or 10. He had all these amazing, profound experiences about reality, about consciousness, about the earth, about himself. And then he came back and he wrote about it. It's a really good audiobook. I didn't read the book. I listened to it. It's called Proof of Heaven. So I don't know if me reading that book was like foreshadowing from my own experience or not. It's a good meditation to explore these things. I mean, even before the brain tumor, I always felt it was a helpful practice to consciously go into, well, this is the third energy in the five energies. So there's the body energy. Like, these five energies are here in every moment for all of us. The body, the breath, one of the three minds. So like the ego could be filling up the consciousness, or what I call the active machine mind, like our rational, conscious, deliberate thinking could fill up our consciousness. Or we could have our intuitive mind filling up our consciousness. So we all have a body in each moment, we all have a breath, we all have one of the three minds, and then we all have the stillness or the letting go or the silence energy. So I really have an opportunity to practice the letting go energy. It's like in every moment. But it's a conscious letting go, not just giving up. You know, so yeah, that's one thing I was hoping to write about in this life, the 11 foundational principles. But yeah, I can't use my left hand now. And then I don't even have the energy anyway. If I had the world's best speech-to-text program, I don't know if I'd be able to write it right now. Somebody suggested just start recording things. Guess I could do that. But I prefer to live and like share things with people in that form. See, I'm kind of repeating myself. But yeah, all day long, in my own consciousness, because at times it's been too painful out loud, but all day long, I am embodied, I am empowered, I am ecstatic, just as I am. So it's been a helpful affirmation. And the affirmation, it's just a tool to feel my unique vibration. Like, I don't know about you, but I still feel home. Like it's a vibration. Maybe that's part of why I came here. I mean, what I wanted to do is help people create a new language of love that would be spread throughout the whole planet. Because one of the biggest problems, if you want to call it a problem, is the language of fear. It's probably the biggest trap a human can have. And even the most beautiful language with the most beautiful intentions, it's still limiting. But if we're going to use language it's like to be able to use a language that brings together heaven and earth. But as of right now, the language, it's very limited. And it's being used to create fear emotions in people. So I was thinking it would be cool to help use language to create love vibrations in people. Not just language, but like music and art and other energies, but especially language, because a lot of people use language. Even with the left side of the body turning off, it's like, how hard do I fight to keep it on? Because it feels like as time goes on, it's like I have to really, again, I'm trying to lift the left arm straight up to the ceiling. I'm trying as hard as I can. Actually, that's a little harder. Yeah, I'm trying harder. I'm just showing you. I'm not like complaining about it, but just showing you. I'm trying to lift the left arm straight up as high as I can. So it's like painful right now and I guess impossible. So So it's like this every moment, resisting, like the left arm just kind of like curling up. It's like every moment using energy to keep the left side of the body awake. Aloha, Jennifer. Thanks, Newell. Newell says, I believe, Ethan, that your soul is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah, I mean, in a sense, death is the most amazing experience of life, no? I suppose the pain kind of isn't the most pleasurable thing to experience as a human, but the actual experience of leaving the body, it's kind of exciting, no? I think it is. Oh, so Newell says, I believe, Ethan, that your soul is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah, I mean, in a sense, I am preparing for death and preparing for life at the same time. They say that it's the same, like basically DMT floods the brain when we're born or when we have very intense experiences near death or leaving the body. There's like a flood of DMT. And that's why it's very similar to ayahuasca and other plant medicine experiences. So in a sense, this feels very familiar to me. I'm not saying I'm perfectly prepared at all, but this feels like familiar territory in a sense. I've also been feeling like that turning off feeling moving up the left side of the spine towards like the back of the left shoulder. Now, I don't know if it's just the whole left side of the body would get paralyzed or the whole body or how that works, but I'm trying to reverse it. Ramda says it's like taking off a tight shoe. I think it's like taking off all my clothes and jumping in the ocean, including my shoes. I'm just seeing who's here. Thank you, everyone who is here. It's very kind of like a multifaceted situation. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions or anything that you wanted to share? Any final emojis? It's all fun and games now until I leave the body and don't come back, and then everyone will be crying. You know? But yeah, increased pain in the head, left side of the body, trying to keep it functioning. But then also it's like the left side of the body is increased pain too. Yeah. It's possible the body's just healing. But yeah, wow. I was talking to a friend last night and telling her about the pain, and the opioids don't help at all. And it's like it's not just pain once, it's like every millisecond an explosion of pain. So she was encouraging me to just be present with it. Yeah. And then also being present with other people in my who I interact with. That's good practice too. So yeah, what does it mean to give up too? I know a lot of us in this culture, like we didn't grow up talking about death or having conscious deaths of family members or friends. Can't speak for everyone in this culture, but it seems like a lot of like consciously dying and consciously supporting people who are dying, consciously communicating about sickness and death did not happen for a lot of us. So I'm grateful that I'm not freaking out about it. And it's not even like, well, I would be happy to leave the body because of the extreme pain. I don't feel that way. I don't like the pain. Yeah, it does not feel good at all. And then I guess in a sense you could say it's my journey. So like I am interacting with other people, but there does come a point where it's just us alone with the universe, and that's our journey. So yeah, with the pain now, I don't know if it's going to turn into like a stroke or an aneurysm or both, or I don't even really know what the difference is. Or it's going to move into seizure, or the whole body's just going to shut down. But yeah, it's been feeling more intense every day for the past probably like 5 days. Oh, and I was in the ER 5 nights ago, and the pain now is exponentially worse, and how the body is feeling. Don't worry, I'll still be all of your angels. If I'm not wearing this orange hoodie every day like I've been for the past 6 months. So yeah, it's like, what does one do in this situation? Even practically speaking, if it's your last night, or you have a few days or a few weeks or months, do you just not care about anything? Or do you, I guess it's different for each of us. And the pain could just be healing. It could be the body, the nerves reawakening. I mean, the pain has always been here, 17 months of pain that would make most people go to the ER. But the past few days, it's been like so much pain here. The painkillers don't do anything. And then also that pain going to the back of the right eye. It's like, at times, I don't know if it's going to be like an explosion and then just, yeah. But there is a space inside that doesn't feel the pain. I guess I could call it my unique vibration, or even kind of practically speaking, my mind does not feel the pain. Like you can't get a knife and like cut the mind in half, or like stab the mind. So it might sound strange, but sometimes I actually move into the mind when there's this much pain. And then sometimes I move into the silent mind. Thanks, Erin. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'm grateful that it can bring a smile to could turn a few frowns upside down. But I guess this is life. But I would like to heal and stay in this body and then turn even more frowns upside down. But I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive, like all day long. Tell myself I can do it. You can do it, body. I'll try to lift my left arm again. Left arm, you can lift up. I believe in you. I believe in you, body. You can heal. You're miraculous. And now I can open the left hand, so that's good. And that's painful too. So I'm trying to stay positive and be open to miracles and to affirm that I am embodied. I am empowered. I am ecstatic. I'm doing that all day long in my mind, in my heart. It's like an explosion of pain every moment. So then underneath, I'm trying to feel presence. Because remember, Christmas is every day. So is Hanukkah. And you don't have to wait till you say Happy New Year to create your dreams, intentions. But yeah, the extreme pain, it's like moving towards the right side of the chest, which I don't know what that's about, but that's a new sensation. But I still feel like so many miracles could happen, and that would be really awesome. But I don't know if I have to leave the body and come back, or there's probably a million things I haven't even thought of miracles that could happen. I'm trying to stay open to that, the unknown. Like you could say that we all have blind spots, and those are things we don't know that we don't know. So I'm sure there's a billion of those things on the small picture and also the big picture. As far as my soul and God's plan, there could be like an infinite amount of things I didn't even see, and that maybe just things are happening beyond perfectly now for my soul. So I'm trying to stay open to that. Janice says, always praying for you. You are such an inspiration, a brave soul. I guess I'm angry tonight at your disease. Much love to you, and yes, there are miracles. Yeah. I mean, on a certain level, I completely created this, co-created it. Like, a lot of it was unconscious, but the energy of the past all got like stored. All the fears, the escape patterns, the self-criticism, all went into the tumor. Luckily, I integrated those issues before I discovered the tumor, but I guess on a certain level, I co-created this with the universe. Rachel says, I don't know you, but I am awed and inspired by you. I think about you and send you positive thoughts many times per day, and I check check Facebook to see if you've been present lately. To keep the positivity coming. I don't know what your path is, but I can tell it is not ending. You have so much left to do. It will be beautiful and amazing, no matter what realm it is in. Please stay in my consciousness in whatever form you can, as I feel you came into my awareness for a reason, but I haven't discovered what it is yet. Thanks. Well, careful, you might give me a big head and give me a headache. So please hold back with the love. Well, not the love, but the compliments. I'm just kidding. Keep them coming. Actually, I've created a document called Positive Words, and it's from people that often I don't even know. They send me positive messages. So I created a document called Positive Words, and then I'll just copy and paste each time somebody sends me something. It's a very long document. So I should probably share that with people eventually. It's kind of good to see Wayne Dyer one time when he gave a talk. I don't know how it happened, but he asked somebody to come on stage and he gave the person a $100 bill. And part of why he did that was because I think the person really needed it or something. So he wanted to show, like, when you witness an act of kindness, it actually helps you feel better too. So, so it might be helpful to share that Positive Words document with people so they can witness kindness. But yeah, Rachel, I feel like I have a lot more to do. I'm not retired yet. I feel like there's more to do. But it very well could be on a different realm. I don't know. It's possible that, like, I know I could be awesome on the human realm, but maybe I'm even better in the angel realm. Very possible. Because I feel that realm all the time. like it's here now. Thanks everyone who is here. Hey Shannon, thanks for being here. So, any suggestions? Wouldn't that be funny if there's one little like herb I didn't think of, and that's the only thing that will help everything, or that's the thing that will kind of get things going in a positive direction? It is possible. Trying to think of what that could be. All right, so it's not over yet. I didn't kick the can yet. The fat lady is not singing. No offense to any fat ladies in here. So, but yeah, it's like, I'm trying to do everything I can to keep the left side of the body on. But it's kind of at a point where I'm just trusting and surrendering. It's kind of like fighting for your soul's dreams and life and love, and the extreme pain, but doing so, trying to stay as cool as a cucumber. Not frozen like a cucumber in the freezer, but cool like a cucumber, like refreshing. So that's a lot easier said than done. But I feel like this is a, Rachel says cat purrs. I'll take that as a good omen. I'm trying to think of a joke. I only know like 2, so I won't bore you with them. It's possible. I mean, maybe I just need to watch comedy all day long and laugh as hard as I can, and then that will heal everything. That's possible too. So it's a really beautiful practice, because having the pain and the tumor, like, I'm trying to not be selfish, self-centered. I'm trying to be present with everyone who I live with and everyone I interact with, as best as I can. So yeah, it's like a PhD in psychology and energy work. And I do want to be some sort of minister. So this is good preparation. I suppose every minister should go through the death experience in some way or another to actually know. Oh, well, why did the shaman drink the ayahuasca? To get to the other side. I know. I'll stick to my day job. So yeah, it's a beautiful practice of, hey.
Are you busy?
Yeah. Do you need something?
I was going to tell you a joke.
What's the joke?
I married a phone.
Yeah? Is there a punchline?
No.
I'll try to think of one. All right, so here we gotta start to a joke. My stepfather said, I married a phone. He said, I have a joke for you. Then he said, I married a phone. All right. This has to be so easy, this joke. I mean, it's like wide open here. It'll come to me. What do you call a pig that knows karate? What's the rabbi's favorite martial art that he can't stop training all day and all night? Jiu-jitsu. Get it? But I don't know. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Oh, pork chop. Good, clean jokes. I like them. All right, keep them coming. Come on, this is my last hope. You got to tell me funny jokes. So yeah, all day long doing different cleansing practices. for my body, for my soul. Trying to keep the left side of the body on. I guess there could be an excuse to like give up, but I figure since I'm still breathing and we are at the biggest awakening in humanity that we've had in a very long time, which I do believe is happening, and miracles happen individually, in relationships, in families, in friends, in all areas of life. I believe miracles exist. So, and I've seen them before. So that's another of a million reasons why I'm not giving up. But I am doing my best to let go of fears. Like I'm doing my best to die psychologically in different ways, if that makes sense. Because in a sense, the physical death, it's like, I guess that's easier in some ways. So I'm doing my best, like, for example, like a fear of what could happen in the future, or if I worry about the pain, like in those moments, I'm doing my best to let go of those fears. So for me, that's how I'm preparing to die. Or showing love to certain family members and friends and people in general. For me, that's a different way I'm trying to die consciously. Shannon says, why did the fungi leave the party? There wasn't mushroom. There wasn't much room. I don't know. That's the only answer I could think of. Tell us, Shannon, why did the fungi leave the party? Oh, I was right. Yes. All right, now let's see if I can do that with the left arm. I can. I mean, I might as well keep fighting until the body can't fight anymore. But yeah, the left arm, I'm trying to reach it up. I'm using all my willpower and focus, but that's about it. But part of the reason why I'm recording these, I mean, I'm hoping that even one person a day can turn their frown upside down because of these videos. But then also there is the positive expectation that miracles will happen. So I'm not waiting until they happen to prepare for them and to create a new life and to heal. I'm doing my best to start now every day. Like when I have the energy, I've offered free sessions to people in glioblastoma groups and people in other cancer groups. So I'm doing my best to I'm trying to follow my path now, as far as healing myself, being present, but then also helping other people. I feel like that's why we're here. Shannon says, why did the mushroom get invited to the party? He was a fun guy. So yeah, the shaman in the last ceremony, it was a private ceremony, just me and him, which was kind of special. Usually it's a group setting. So I said Om. I said, well, I've thought about having a new name, but I don't want to just give myself some hippie name and think anything in my soul and my mind, in my patterns, anything has changed. But I've been working with you for a while, and I respect you, and it would be meaningful if you gave me a new name. This was in, I think, July of 2019. And so he was singing the Ikaros, the prayers, and then at one point he just laid down, and I could have sworn he fell asleep. And this lasted, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. So I figured, well, maybe I'm supposed to lay down. He didn't say anything. So I just lay down. I was on the opposite side of the space. And then every once in a while he would get up and just start either he would say some wise thing or he would start singing, and then he would lay down again and rest. And I would just say, okay, and then just lay down and rest. And this went on for quite a while. And then at one point he got up and I'm pretty sure he put his arm in the air and he said, E3, embodied, empowered, ecstatic. That's your new name. I said, wow, that's kind of cool. So since then, I kind of like, I guess you could say that's my spiritual name. So I started to just connect with that energy. And then eventually I started to use it as an affirmation and to tell myself in my mind, I'm embodied, I'm empowered, ecstatic. And that started to feel really good. And then several months ago, when I created a YouTube channel, I decided to just do the affirmation every day and just share it with people. But then I realized, like, part of what my soul wants to do is help other people feel embodied, empowered, and ecstatic, just as they are. So it's not just about me and my name and my affirmation, but my soul's purpose. So that's a little background of the E3 affirmation and the name, where it came from and why it's important to me. So I feel like Om knew what would happen before it happened. And I believe he knew. And this is just part of the journey. This is an extension of that ceremony. That's the deep sense I get. Thank you everyone for who is here, if you're still here. Thanks, Anne. Anne says, I pray for you daily. My mom was diagnosed June 5th, 2019 and declined so quickly, and she passed 2 months later, August 5th, 2019, before we could even start any treatment. Don't mean... Come on, don't be a Debbie Downer. I'm just kidding. She says, don't mean to bring the mood down. I know you're telling jokes about your journey. Your outlook is an inspiration. Yeah. I guess there are many different approaches in my situation. It's a good... Hey, Matthew, thanks for saying hi. Yeah, it's a good exploration. I guess different people face death different ways, as far as the people experiencing it and the caregivers and the people in the environment. So everyone has their own process, I think. I do have faith. I don't know how things will turn around, but I believe it's possible. Then sometimes I feel like, well, all this money, all this time, all this energy, and then for me to just kick the can really soon. But I'm trying to trust that there's a higher plan. And maybe that's, well, there are many, like, learning opportunities. I guess that's part of faith, like when faith, not just when things are easy or good, but even when things are at their most... I promise I won't start to sound like Joel Osteen. By the way, remember, you are not a victim, you're a victor. But yeah, maybe Joel would say, at your darkest times, that is when your light of faith can shine the brightest, or something like that. So maybe that's part of my practice here. Like when things feel hopeless and who knows how things could get better, then at that moment, exploring, well, even then, what does faith mean? Like believing that the body's going to fully heal and live another 5,000 years? Is that faith? Or maybe just that, well, whatever we are, a soul or a whatever, a vibration, that vibration is on its like perfect path. Maybe that's faith. I think it's a good thing to explore once in a while. You don't have to be like me and sit in the bathroom all day and make live streams to explore these things, but maybe once in a while, you could set up the tripod, have a deep conversation with the toilet. Yeah. The toilet is the best listener in the whole world. Doesn't give you shit. Just, it'll take your crap and only give you love in return. Love you too, Shannon. And by the way, thank you for the magical presents. I mean, I wish I could just get a good night's sleep and then the body would start to feel better tomorrow, but that has not been happening. Well, I mean, the sleep last night was slightly better, but as far as like, yeah. Good to see you too, Walter. So yeah, last night I was talking to a friend telling her the painkillers are doing nothing at all. So she was kind of helping me to just focus on, I forget exactly what she said, but like presence and trusting that the pain, like it's gonna move or something like that. It's definitely a cool learning experience, different than reading about it in a book or hearing someone else's experience. Matthew, you said drink less coffee. I don't know you, if you're saying I should drink less coffee, because I don't drink coffee. Or I don't know if that's just a joke. I'm high on life. I don't need coffee. Okay, now we're getting to good questions. Are the painkillers making it hard to poop? That's the final question. My final statement is no. You could write this on my gravestone. The painkillers did not make it hard to poop because I used regular enemas. Yeah. There you go. That's my message to the world. So does anyone have anything else you wanted to share or questions? Yeah, I know I'm trying to stay calm as a cucumber, but with this pain and the body shutting down, it's like only a miracle would keep me like to heal and to live a lot longer. That's the feeling I get. And of course, the big guy. But if God is a woman, can we say like, because at this point it feels like miracles and the big guy are in charge here. But if God is a woman, then would it be wrong to say the big girl up in heaven? It's up to her. I'm kind of joking. And if if God is a man and a woman, or male and female integrated, then we would say they. And I think in the beginning of the Bible, pretty sure they said they created, or we were created in their image, meaning multiple beings possibly created us. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Oh, oh yeah. Matthew said, I thought because you're not sleeping, no coffee. I guess American joke. Yeah. Thanks everyone for being here. Mm. Hmm. I mean, things could flip around in a good way really quickly, so that's possible. Started the hyperbaric chamber, and it might not be the only thing for brain cancer, but it can definitely help the body and help rejuvenate the body. And tomorrow will be the second day in a row, and I'll be going 5 days this week, so that's cumulative. So I'll have a better sense of how it's helping probably even after tomorrow. And then the next week, I'll go as many times as I can as well. So it's very, very possible that after these 10 sessions of hyperbaric, that is the thing which will jumpstart the body to stay alive, especially on the left side of the body and the whole body, and to heal and regenerate. I guess this isn't how my brain planned it, but it feels right to be in this extreme pain, the body to be doing what it's doing, everything to be happening with certain people in my environment. It all feels like it's happening perfectly. It's not easy. And this isn't the first time that things have been challenging. And then what will people say? Well, now he's at peace. Well, I feel at peace now. So I'm trying to keep that same energy. I mean, it is very possible. Maybe leaving the body and then facing the Creator, and as calm as I feel now, maybe I'll be like full of fear, but I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, David says, you seem to be a lot happier today. I'm happy that I got to drop in and see you. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I guess a little bit better today as far as my mind. If you can imagine, well, you might not want to, but feeling the left side of the body turning off more and more pain, it's been a unique experience for me. Matthew says, your face is ablaze with Shekinah, homie. I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah. And then sometimes I think about like, well, I wanted to heal and then attract my partner and create with her, and so many other dreams. But then I think, what do I really want? I want to be connected to my unique vibration. I want to be connected to Emmanuel, and I want to be in that space. So I have that now. So I'm grateful for that. Somebody the other day was telling me like to repent for my sins or something like that, and like accept Jesus or I'll go to hell, something like that. Forget which video it was on a few days ago. But I told him, and this is how I feel, like I've been to hell and heaven. And they're both good places to learn and to be connected with God, and for the soul to evolve. So, yeah, I'm not so concerned about going to heaven or hell. I feel like it's like an extension of the same journey. Like I feel like our soul, all like your soul, my soul, like your soul has a purpose for being here. It has like a frequency and a vibration, and how that manifests can take different forms in your life. But I feel like that frequency and vibration is the same throughout the whole life, just takes different forms. So I'm trying to trust that in myself too, and to not be attached to it has to look like a certain way. Even possibly the highest success in my life could be leaving the body at 36 years old. I don't know. Shannon says, I pray for your continued peace and being okay, no matter what. I hope that you stay out of fear. I worry sometimes that you may feel deep fear, and that makes me feel sad. Yeah, I guess on a certain level, I don't have fear. I guess when it comes down to it, I'll find out. But I don't feel a fear. I feel pain. I feel discomfort. I feel challenges. I feel embodied. I feel empowered. I feel ecstatic. Yeah, there are fears that come into the passive machine mind, ego. Yeah, every day, pretty much all day long, there are certain fears, and then I have to like guide the consciousness back to the present and to the most positive path possible. Positive path possible. 3 P's. This is sounding like a self-help seminar by now. I'm telling you that you are not a victim, you are a victor. I'm telling you to remember the 3 P's, which I already forgot. Oh, take the most positive path possible. And if that path doesn't work, then just take a little detour and keep on following that positive path. Rachel says, where do you live? Are you expecting snow tonight as I am? Maybe you will wake to a beautiful scene in the morning with a quiet calm of fresh snow. Sleep well, be well, good night. Good night. Yeah, maybe there'll be snow. Then I'll make a snow angel. Yeah, it's like even since the beginning of the live stream, whenever that was, left side of the body, more pain, turning off more. And yes, I know I'm trying to use positive affirmations. People tell me that, you have to use words to create your reality. Well, okay, I'm trying. I am. What state? I'm in North Carolina. I'm in a positive state of mind. So yeah, it's like, what does one do in this situation? Like practically speaking, what do I do? I mean, meditating, it's like the most pain, it's like pain meditation. And I can't sit up too long. I'm against the wall now. Because I could just sit and meditate as long as I can. I could take like 10 cold showers in a row. I can be here now. I can be here now. I mean, I could smoke more weed than I've ever smoked in my whole life, but that won't feel good at all. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do anything to escape now, because like that won't feel good in my soul, in my mind. Same thing for the opioids. I mean, even the minimal amount of opioids, they don't feel good energetically. Like it feels like I don't know, it feels like a yucky feeling in the body and even in the mind. But I'll probably do a very small, I don't know. I have THC indica. It's good for sleep. Does anyone have any questions? Anything you want to share? And I've been getting onto the earth as much as I can, but literally walking is getting harder each day. Unless the left side of the body, something good happens, it's just like the left leg is not working as well. Walter says, does the cold shower actually ease the pain? Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's a little uncomfortable the first few seconds, but then it feels great. Aaron says, accept the bad with the good and just be. You don't have to be or do anything. You can just be. Yeah. I'm trying to view everything the same. Not even good or bad. Pleasure or pain. Yeah. Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it. Thanks, David. I appreciate your updates. He says I'm about to take a fat rip off my bong too. All right, guys, let's not turn this into a drug smuggling or like advice conversation. No, just kidding. I will not censor you. You could speak your truth. So yeah, I'm making this live stream because I have more energy than I did earlier today, and just like I'm not projecting this, but how it feels, I don't know if I'll be able to do a lot more live streams with just the pain, and even sitting up like this is so painful. Besides, like the pressure is increasing, and I'm praying that it can shift, but if it keeps on continuing, then I don't know what the body will do. It's okay, David, you are couth. Says I'm sorry for being uncouth. All right, so thank you, my angels, for being here. There were moments in the past where I would ask the universe, okay, please, everyone stop praying for me because there's so much pain. I don't want to live any longer. But that was a few months ago. But I don't feel like that now. As far as wanting the prayers to stop, I want them to continue. Love you too, Matthew. Janice says, I'm a mom and always wonder if your caregivers wrap their arms around you and smother you with love. That is what I hope happens for you. Yeah, my mom does. Yeah. Forget what I was going to say. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like the left side of the body is going to shut off. I'm sorry, I keep on repeating myself. But then I have to be present, and then, okay, if that happens, no big deal. Still here. Got a right side of the body. I could always bring the left side of the body back to life. So that's kind of my experience right now. Any questions? I mean, it's possible somebody who has brain cancer might view this video in the future. Maybe one of your questions I didn't think of, and it might help them. Yeah, but it feels like a slow, painful death. That's what it feels like. And I'm trying to talk to the body consciously, telling the body, you can do it. I believe in you. You're miraculous. You're amazing. You're powerful. Thank you for your love. Because that is one of the primary relationships we have since the beginning of this incarnation, with our body, with our mind, with our vital life force, energy. So I'm trying to have those relationships be really, like, keep them good, if that makes sense. Thank you, everyone who is here. It's like a reality TV show. Linda says, do you feel anything positive immediately after hyperbaric? Well, I feel the positive in the hyperbaric. Like when the oxygen is flowing, when there's pressure in the chamber. When there's pressure, it like, I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but it's almost like when there's pressure in the chamber, all of the cells are like floating around in their fluid. So it's, even though there's more pressure, it's actually like I guess less pressure internally. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it. So it almost feels like you're floating, or I'm floating in the chamber. So in the chamber, it feels good. And then after I get out of the chamber, it's like the brain and skull and everything has to adjust, and then the pain comes back. But I am trusting that several sessions will help. And it is very, 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 very possible. So that's one reason that I am doing it. Carol says, do your parents, siblings care for you? Well, I'm with my mom and stepfather, and then my father lives in the same town, and he's helping too, bring me to appointments and making calls and assisting in other ways. So yeah, but it's been very challenging for everyone involved. They were not expecting me to show up in New York and then have a stroke and tumor diagnosis and for me to stay with them after brain surgery. So yeah, it's been hard for everyone involved. That's why we came here, because we are warriors. Yes. Um, I'm trying to make this worth your time. I know your time is valuable. Write that one down, Dad, if you're still watching. Your time is valuable. Me and my dad have been creating a list of like things that people say that like are kind of either like don't make sense or they're kind of funny commonisms. I'm trying to think of some. They'll come to me. But Michael says you are a warrior and a half. That's a lot of warrior right there. I guess I have to be humble because, yeah, I'm strong. I'm a warrior. I'm an angel. But yeah, let's stay alive and share this with people. That's what I want. Like, maybe God wants something different. Thanks, Natalie. She says, sending love. So yeah, I might rest a little bit or see how much I can rest. Yeah, my story is very, very interesting and beautiful, and that's one reason I want to share it with people. But right now, I can't do anything with my left hand, and I can't, well, let alone type, speech to text. So this has been a practice in just trust for me, because I do want to share my story. I believe that it can help other people, because when we see somebody else's story, like that's part of being human, storytelling. And connecting with other people's stories, it's like we're connecting with our own story, I believe. Jen says, your family is blessed to care for you. I care for and live with my 79-year-old mother, and it has been a challenge. I never wanted to be anyone's caretaker, but I'm humbled and honored and accept the challenge given to me. Carol says, I would love to hear a little bit about you growing up, your family, friends, and life, happiest times. I am your Facebook new friend, but I don't know you. I would love to have you share more, maybe a family pic or group video with your family. Sending love. I'm almost done. Huh?
Do you need help with that?
Well, see, this is, the bottle's in there. I mean, if you want to try, to fill it up to the 10.
10?
Yeah.
10?
10. Yeah. Thanks. You can try. Oh, yeah. Hey, Aunt Stephanie. Thanks. So yeah, beautiful presence practices. Everyone has their own soul's journey, you could say, and then we're all communicating through this human interface. Sometimes we forget that we each have a soul, we each have a path. We should remember we each have feelings. We each have, we each have gifts that, like, you have gifts that I don't have, and vice versa. So these are things I've been practicing. Nicole says, how did you find out you had brain cancer? Did you have headaches or other symptoms? No, I didn't have headaches. I would never get headaches my whole life. Maybe like once every year and a half, 2 years, I don't know. But then I had a minor stroke flying from Hawaii to New York. And then the next day, the left side of my body was slightly paralyzed, and then went to the ER. They did brain scans and saw a massive tumor that had been there for many, many years. So that's how I found out. I'm praying that in the future, people can get regular brain scans, regular blood work. Like, this is just basic health that we should all have. I wish we all had access to regular blood work instead of just guessing what should we eat, what do we need in our body. It's kind of simple, but it could be expensive. Yeah, I'll show you later.
In the fridge? Look at this.
You filled it?
Yeah.
Oh.
To 10, right?
Yeah. Thanks. So, yeah, David says, I referred to you as my guru yesterday, and it is just felt natural. Is that okay? Yeah, it's like, I guess I could be a guru because I'm in pain and near death, so it gives me permission to at least share some love. I believe it's like Simon Sinek. He wrote the book Start With Why. I think it was the most viewed TED Talk at the time. Start With Why. It's a really beautiful, very beautiful TED Talk. Start With Why. And recently he wrote a book, which I did not read, but I heard him talk about it. It's called Leaders Eat Last. And I think it's a cool concept that, like, a real leader versus so-called leaders that we have, especially in this country, it's like the opposite. They did not put in, like, that's one reason I want to be part of the new earth, that there will be real leaders, like wise, actual, real life qualified masters who did not gain their position through coercion or stealing or things like that, but they have their position because they are powerful and they use their power to serve other people, not power over them, but they use their power to empower other people. So I guess in that sense, I am a teacher because I'm just facing my own pain. And so if there is any love to share, then that's where it comes from. Not from like an honorary doctorate degree. It doesn't mean anything. So anyway, yeah. But you could say, well, would that be ego? Well, it would be ego to avoid who we are and run away from who we are. It would also be ego to pretend we are something we are not. So I'm doing my best to bear my own cross, bear my own Star of David. This is immuno. See, I can't, like, I don't know if I can, but I can't hold this. And actually I could briefly. Yeah. Well, this is, I don't know what Facebook cares about what we show, but this is immuno. GCMAF, it's called, but immuno. It's a treatment to build the immune system. Yeah, just trying to put the lid back on. Matthew says, the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. Yeah, sometimes people ask, do you believe in Jesus? Like, I think that's a silly question. The question should be, are you an embodiment of that same energy to the best of your ability? And I would like to think, or I would say no, not now, but I'm trying as hard as I can. Maybe this is just, maybe we're all going through something similar. You know, like just in our own way, we're each going through something like our own death rebirth portal. Hey Nina, thanks for being here. Thank you everyone for being here. I wish I could give more updates. I wish I could type. It's, I guess, a little frustrating sometimes. I can't type. So this way I could type updates, and some people find it easier to read updates versus watching these world record length videos. But I'm kind of pushing through now because I wanted to give everyone an update. David says, I'm trying my best to accept the parts of myself that I've denied exist. Without accepting them, how can I overcome them? Beautifully said. It's been a very interesting journey. It's like preparing long term, but then also not knowing if I'm going to live long term. Like long term meaning, I don't know, a few years. Even practically speaking, like it's been interesting at times trying to learn music theory while in extreme pain and you could say near death. Like on my deathbed, or will it be a death seat? I don't know. Like, am I going to still be trying to write music and, you know, write my books? There will come a point where I have to let go, and that's like a next level practice that we all get to experience. Of course, part of me is going to want to live stream. Actually, that would be kind of cool. Like transitioning from the body and live streaming it. Facebook would probably take it down. But why? Like, I think that should be allowed. But in this matrix, there exists the thought police. And a thought is an image, a sound, or a word in our consciousness. And I think that's a really sacred space. Music theory is like, how do you, intervals mostly, as far as knowing the distance between two notes. So this way, if somebody is playing, if you know the root note, you know how all the other notes relate to the root note. Yeah. Yeah, the pain is just increasing. I wish I could like do some sort of meditation to make it heal. But it's like an explosion of pain every moment. And then just being fully present, like not running away from it and not like trying to force it to heal instantly. But like I've said many times, miracles can happen, so why not call them in? David says, have you tried any of the Wim Hof techniques? Yeah, for many years. But especially the past year and a half, there's so much pain that I literally could not do the Wim Hof breathing. So, hey, Margot, thanks for being here. Focusing on the exhales has felt better for me, or just watching the breath. I'll probably communicate to the mushrooms I have. I haven't used them in the past like 2 years, especially the past since I had the brain surgery, because I wanted to be mindful of the brain. But I'm going to tune into them and just psychically communicate with them and see how they want to assist. I mean, it's very possible that that could be one valuable tool in this situation. But yes, it's like, I guess this is life. Being present with pain, death, but also like, calling in miracles. This would be a miracle, I believe. If I get out of pain and the body starts to heal. And wouldn't that be such a cool story to share with people? And wouldn't it be the perfect time for a positive story in the world? I believe so. Well, I'm going to go for now. I didn't eat dinner. Aldous Huxley took acid on his deathbed. Yeah. Yeah, it's just an interesting situation for me because like I'm not in a shamanic community right now. I'm not in a community with like 50 friends who are similar to me. I'm not complaining, just that's how it is. So yeah, if I was in that sort of community, I could, and I knew I was going to leave the body soon, it would be completely like, it would be different. But it is what it is, and maybe this is part of my mastery training that I'm going through. Thanks, David, for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Yeah, I don't want to complain because that's like a misuse of energy. So I'm just sharing data with you. But yeah, the pain, it's like, it's worse than I felt in the past, probably like year. And the pressure and it's not even just the pain. Like, yeah, I'll probably take opioid tonight and extra THC indica for sleep. But it's like what's happening in the body is more important to me than the pain. But yeah, I'm kind of repeating myself. I would love to heal, get out of pain, and then create even more beauty and help more people. Like, that's what I want. I'm doing what I can, but it's pretty much like the thing that I could do. I could sit in the bathroom and do live streams and share my experience with people. But this is not what I want to be doing forever. Yeah, so we will see. So I'm going to go now and eat a little bit and see how I feel. And maybe I'll be back later. It is a very, very critical situation, it feels like. So it's a good opportunity to be present. And who knows, this could last another year of the pain, of the challenges, I don't know. Or it could last just one more day. And now remember, you don't have to wait till December 31st, 2021 to create your 2022 New Year's intentions. You can start now. So if you'd like to think of any intention, yeah, good night, Aaron. You can type it in the comment or you could just feel it in your heart. Then I will do the E3 affirmation. And you can join me if you'd like, and we will all support each other's intentions. Wouldn't that be fun? So energetically, this is like a meditation. We could bring positive energy to ourselves and to the world, just as we are. So if you'd like, think of your prayer, your intention. I'll do the E3 affirmation if you'd like to join me, cultivating your unique vibration, and then from that space, calling in miracles. Thanks, Nina. All right, let's begin. Now, you could fake it till you make it, but I'm lucky that I've done this affirmation so many times that I feel it. It's a real smile, not a fake smile like this. It's a real one. So, yeah, make it your own, and let's begin. I am embodied. I am empowered. Now here's the fun part. Well, it's all fun. I am ecstatic. And then I like to inhale the positive energy and then exhale, either feel it and ground and or send it out to someone. So thank you so much for your prayers and your support. And I will be doing my best. And I look forward to sharing more either tonight or tomorrow. So yeah, let's see what miracles can happen. I have no idea what they will look like, but I believe it is possible. And thank you so much for your support.